7 reasons you don't feel good that have absolutely nothing to do with diagnosis, disease, or ailment. That's what we're going to talk about today. And first, let me say that I could only think of 7, but there are probably more. And 2, I am not saying at all that diagnosis, disease, and ailments aren't real things that don't need real treatment. They absolutely are. What I am saying is that after 15 years in this business of observing and watching the healing process unfold, is that I can almost guarantee that every single long-term condition has a mental or emotional component that's binding the energy up, that makes treatments and courses of care less effective. And if you can disentangle your power from those mental, emotional things, reclaim it back to your body, you will either heal just from doing that, or you will find that the next thing you try works because there's no longer this brick wall stopping your forward process. So welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Kate Flynn, and that is what I do. I teach people how to identify the entanglements, the places where their power is locked up, how to reclaim that, and then channel that power into healing, into moving forward in a new way, into self-love. So let's get right into number 1. You might not be feeling your best because you are forcing yourself to stay in situations, relationships, jobs, geographic locations that you are either no longer a match for, that you have outgrown the benefit of that situation, or that you were never a match for in the first place. So in trying to force yourself to stay in those situations, your body will start to break down under that pressure. And here's the deal with all of these. No amount of supplements, no amount of self-care, no amount of exercise or meditation is going to make it okay for you to stay in a place that you are no longer meant to be. It's just not. Can you soften the consequences? Probably. Can you mitigate them completely? I've not seen that happen. 15 years. Maybe that's not a super long time, but I feel like I've learned a thing or two. Number 2, trying to live up to other people's expectations of who they think you should be. I mean, just when you hear that statement, it sounds painful, right? You are here to unfold and to be 100% you, but we've all been conditioned that we are supposed to be something other than what we are, because that may be more pleasing to the people around us, the people that say they love us. But it's not the best way to move forward, right? And it comes again with those consequences, and your body will start to reflect back to you the pressure that you are under. Number 3 is a big one. And please pay attention to where your body responds as we go through these 7 things. Like, oh, that was painful to hear. Oh, I've never thought of it that way. Or maybe some light bulb comes on and you're like, oh, that's exactly what's going on with me. Because if you start to then move in direction of correcting that, you can feel better. And isn't that what we all want? I digress. So back to number 3, assuming responsibility for other people's experiences. And I know this is a tricky one, especially when they are your family, your kids, your spouse, your parents, your loved ones, your friends. You want what's best for them. But if we don't want what's best for ourselves, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing or tries to convince us of. Like, we are going to have the experience that we are going to have. And all we can do as bystanders or observers is let that person know that we love them. Yes, we wish they would make another choice. No, we're not going to assume responsibility for the choices that they do make and the experience that unfolds from there. You cannot stop someone from having a bad experience of their own making. You just can't. When you reclaim the power from that thought process, from that mental madness, you can use it to then starting to heal your body, to experience and feeling self-love. Number 4, sometimes we use not feeling good as a reason or an excuse to get us out of doing things we don't want to do. Yeah, it's true. And you hear it kind of being laughed about or joked about in, things on TV or movies, like the wife says, "Oh, I can't tonight, I have a headache," or whatever it may be. But it's really not a laughing matter, because this can become a long-standing pattern if you don't feel like you can say no to whatever it is, whether it's some kind of adventure or going out to a restaurant or doing a group or team activity, and your body is responding, "No, I don't want to do that," but your mind convinces you that yes, you're supposed to do that. You want to please the people around you and do the things they're asking of you. Then your body will come up with a reason or excuse why it's acceptable for you to say no. Because for some reason, just saying no in our culture is not necessarily an acceptable thing to do. And I'm on a mission to shift that, and I hope you will join me. Because wouldn't it be nice if we could just say, "No, I don't want to do that." It's not because necessarily like I don't like you or I don't like that activity. That just energy isn't there to support me in doing that. So I'm going to honor what my body is telling me and say no. And just let it be no. And not have people around us try to convince us that our answer should be yes. So do you do that? Do you create physical ailments or draw them out so that you don't have to do things you don't want to do? Number 5, and this might piggyback on number 4 a little bit, but do you use long-term chronic pain or disease or ailment so that you can be a bystander in your own life, so that you don't have to actively participate? Maybe you have, some fear of making choices, making the wrong choices. Maybe you feel like nothing you could do would ever be good enough to please those people around you. I learned this one a little early on. I did kind of got into this work in a supplement practice in RT, or nutrition response testing, which is kind of ironic because I refuse to take almost every supplement. But anyway, this woman came in, I put her on a few supplements, she was doing a lot better, and then she stopped coming in, and we kind of had a mutual friend, and the mutual friend mentioned, she was getting a lot out of not feeling good. And once that started to change and she did start to feel better, then her family expected her to show up and participate in her life, and she didn't want to do that. So she stopped coming in. She stopped taking the supplements because the benefit of feeling bad outweighed the benefit of feeling good at that moment in time in her life. At that time, I wasn't getting into the nitty-gritty undergirdings of the physical world. It was just like, okay. So do you participate in your life, or are you too afraid? Has life taught you to be more timid and apprehensive and worried, and to validate those emotions? You don't feel good. Number 6, sometimes we can convince ourselves, or our upbringing and our history shows us that the only time we are worthy of love and affection and attention is when we don't feel good. Because if everything's great, think about it. Think about the people in your life. Do you worry about or have concern for or check in on the people in your life that are doing what appears to be really well? No, you think they've got this. They're fine. They're okay. Well, side note or surprise, most of us still have issues that we're working through, right? Absolutely. But now think about the people in your life that tend to have a lot of medical issues, a lot of traumas, a lot of pain. You're always thinking about them and checking in on them. And there might be this energetic pull at play. Like, if I'm feeling great, then no one cares about me, no one loves me, no one checks in on me. But when I feel bad, I get a lot of attention. I get a lot of love directed to me. So then we've kind of talked about the people around you that might be experiencing that. Is that true for you? Do you have a chronic ailment, and is that the energetic lock in place that keeps you from healing, that keeps you from feeling better? And if any of these resonate as true or yes for you, there's no shame or judgment in that. Not at all. I have definitely experienced these things in my own life. It's just a matter of awareness, of observation. Is that how I want to create my life? Or do I want to come into alignment with my inner truth, with my authentic self, and live my life from there and not need these things to be in place anymore? Because chronic ailments and pain, not fun stuff, right? So if there's a way to create differently, I hold the space for you to make a new choice, because I can't assume responsibility for your experience, right? Okay, we have one more. Number 7. And this was the last one that came to my awareness. They're in this order for a reason, right? And it's because sometimes our worth, our value is tied up in our productivity, right? What did we accomplish? What did we do? How much did we lift? How fast did we run? How strict were we with our diet? And somehow in that makes us worthy of love, right? So this tendency to push yourself beyond your capacity, beyond what you are capable of, beyond what you can energetically support, so that you get some kind of gold star that doesn't even exist, right? People might be impressed because maybe they're not living up to their potential or their capacity. But I tell you, I see this unfold in the stories and the reels and the things I see on social media. Oh, I pushed through the pain. Oh, I did it anyway. Oh, I kept going. And I'm like, but why though? What are you long-term getting out of that? Because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be everlasting physical health, wellness, and well-being, right? So is there another way for you to feel worthy and valued and get what you need through an authentic experience that doesn't involve running yourself into the ground? All right, so those are 7 reasons that you may not feel great that don't have anything to do with your diagnosis or disease. Again, I'm Dr. Kate Flynn. Thank you for checking out my channel. If this information resonates with you, please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those things. And if you really resonated with 1 or 2 of those things and you're like, okay, so how do I start disentangling that? How do I start reclaiming my power from those patterns so that I can fuel a more authentic experience and feel better in my body? Then reach out, message me, let's get something on the books.